Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. Today I am continuing my review series featuring Medjay. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review series, featuring this tabletop RPG where you play as a larger-than-life monster hunter, unraveling the mysteries of ancient Egypt and confronting its threats, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time, we are going to talk about the core rules. This game uses the D6 advantage system, which is quick to learn. Whenever a character attempts something risky, uncertain, or opposed, that character rolls, or rather that player rolls, a 6-sided die. If you roll 4, 5, or 6, it's a success. If it's 1, 2, or 3, it's a failure. When you have an advantage, you roll 2 6-sided dice and keep the highest. When it's a disadvantage, you roll 2 6-sided dice and keep the lowest. And advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out. If your highest die is a natural 6, you gain a bonus effect such as extra damage or better positioning and the like. If your lowest die is a natural 1, then the Game Master adds a twist, worsening the situation or introducing a new threat. Now these explanations are good, but you have some Game Master trick paragraphs that are just awful. They encourage a conversation, an out-of-character conversation, between the players and the Game Master, and they do not exist in the fiction. This is going to destroy the wonderful fiction you are creating through roleplay. Because here it says, say yes, then roll. And then the Game Master should say, roll to see if you can. You can try. Let's see what happens. In tabletop role-playing games, where you are playing a role and playing a game, the Game Master presents a situation, and the players interact with that situation through roleplay, not by having a conversation, not by having an out-of-character conversation with the Game Master. So these examples are terrible. Now you have examples of advantage and disadvantage of how they could apply. Perhaps having a relevant skill or clever planning in the case of advantage, in the case of disadvantage, maybe because you are wounded or you have terrible positioning when carrying out an action. So the action resolution could be summarized at 5 steps. You state the action. The player describes what the hero does. The player doesn't have a conversation. Mr. Game Master, can my character do this or that? What are you, children in a classroom? Then you determine the risk as a Game Master. You decide if a roll is needed or not. The disadvantage and advantage is set. The dice are rolled, and then you narrate the result as a Game Master. As simple as that. Now when it comes to monster battles, combat is fast, dangerous, and cinematic. You determine initiative. You act, you take action, in whatever order makes narrative sense. So there is no step where you have to make a roll or a series of rolls to see if there is initiative or not. It's all based on the context. And the turn flows. Each round has 3 bits in order or phases. Position. Everyone moves and repositions. Clash. Heroes and enemies attack or use their abilities or manipulate the field in some way, the battlefield. And then the aftershock. Reactions, hazards, and special fight mechanics are triggered. As simple as that. Your position could be close, near, far, extreme. When it comes to movement, move 1 step for free before or after your clash action. Spend your clash action to move 2 steps. So if you want to move more, you will have to sacrifice your clash action. Certain abilities or relics can ignore distances. When it comes to clash, you can attack, aid another character, exploit a weakness. You can do pretty much anything that you wish. That makes sense with the context. You could also heal 1 wound if you are safe. You can recover. So if your comrades, if your friends are fighting the creature and you are hiding behind a pillar, you can take a moment to patch up a bit. When it comes to damage, the base hit is 1 wound. but depending on the weapon, this could change to 2 wounds. You can also exploit weak points or use special effects so that this damage is even greater. When it comes to wounds or effects in the case of heroes, if you have 1 wound, there is no effect. If you have 2 wounds, you have disadvantage on physical rolls. If you have 3 wounds, you are downed and can't take action until revived. In the case of enemies, minor foes, they usually go down after 1 or 2 wounds. In the case of major foes, they go down after 3 to 6 wounds. Now, when it comes to dynamic fights at specific wound thresholds, enemies change tactics, movement, or even the battlefield itself. These are detailed in each monster's entry. Concerning the aftershock, after all clash actions have been taken, you have the enemy reactions. When a major foe loses a wound, it may counterattack, reposition, summon help, or alter the battlefield. When it comes to the hazards, the ground could shift. There could be flooding, perhaps falling debris. And what about the momentum payoff? Each major foe has its own momentum mechanic that builds as the fight progresses. After a fixed number of hits, the enemy becomes open. At that time, the heroes might finish it off or exploit a weakness. So, cinematic finishers are encouraged. Feel free to describe spectacularly how you jump and spin and do a cross cut against the fallen foe's head. You know, maybe you're fighting a huge, gigantic opponent, and now you get to attack the head in such an over-the-top, showy, show-off way. And this concludes this part of the review series. In the next part, we are going to talk about the conflict and tension clocks. So this section is good when it comes to the game mechanics, but integrating the roleplay, this is a terrible subsection. But at least the mechanics are good. Thank you for watching this part of the review series. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, in tabletop role-playing games, you are not having a conversation about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.